Hi everyone, it's Danny. Okay, so some time ago I told you that I will make a video in which I will show you the damage and the trouble that I went through by using a certain type of mix designed for orchids. And this is the coconut husk mix with bark and something else, I don't really know. But it is the orchid focus mix. And I'm inclined to believe that that's the cause of my trouble. Not saying that the company is bad, I'm just saying that maybe I had a bad batch. Now, if you remember, when I did the, I don't know if it was a review, but I showed you that this mix is actually not properly sterilized because I had all sorts of mushrooms and stuff growing in my pots. And yeah, ever since I potted some orchids in that particular mix, all hell broke loose, and I have quite a lot of trouble because of it, so I'll show you some examples. Okay, so this is one of them. This is one Encyclia orchid. As you can see, I have some bark husk, some bark chips, sorry, and some coconut husk here. And yeah, one of the problems that I had with this mix is that it created some very weird spotting on the leaves. Alrighty, maybe this is not the best example, but I just want to show you. Hopefully you can see in the light here what's happening. There are these circles which are lighter in color, and yeah, hopefully they will not develop into spots, although some already did. Now, this is the most frequent thing I discovered with all orchids potted in this mix, the appearance of strange markings on the leaves, and I'll show you a few other examples. Some of them are worse than this. So yeah, let's go. This is the epidendrum, pseudoepidendrum, and ever since I potted this orchid in that particular mix, it is repotted right now, but all along it had all sorts of stains on the leaves. Also, the tips of the leaves got very, very dry, and eventually the leaves have fallen. So something was really not to its liking. You can see here something left behind. I will have to cut this growth. And yeah, this is basically what happened to all of my plant, and this is why this cane is pretty bare. Now what I did was I repotted this orchid into my preferred media right now, which is bark and sphagnum moss, and it seems to be doing a bit better. I still see a few spots here and there, but certainly not how it was. So yeah, with this one, the spots appeared. I tested it for virus. I tested it for the two most common viruses, which is the Cymbidium mosaic virus and the other one, the Oncidium ring spot virus. It came out negative. Doesn't mean it doesn't have a different virus, but I am guessing a bacterial infection. Also, because the leaves had those burned tips, I think the media was a bit too salty, or there was a salt built up because of the coconut husk, so maybe it was not properly washed. I don't know. But yeah, hopefully with the repotted, this guy will do better. Okay, this is the most critical one. As you can see, all the leaves have ugly, ugly spots on them. I tested this orchid 3 times. It is clean for those 2 viruses. Not sure if this is a different type of virus. It could be a bacterial infection. I'm not necessarily sure. So these spots seem to form and they develop into something like this, and then it just stops, I believe. I don't know. I did repot this orchid from that media, and it is putting out new roots and probably a new shoot. So hopefully the new growth will not be as spotted. But this orchid was absolutely healthy until I repotted it. When I repotted it, this started to happen. So yeah, I really am not pleased. And I don't think this orchid came with anything. I think it just got something, probably from that media, because I believe it wasn't sterilized. Okay, I'm going to show you some Phalaenopsis type orchids now. Okay, this is the Sideria japonica. It was recently reclassified as a Phalaenopsis, by the way. In any case, it is potted in that media. I didn't get a chance to repot it because of the flower spike, but the leaves have discolorations on them, and everything started right after I repotted it. It was clean, it looked very good when I purchased it, but after repotting it started to develop these ugly spots, and she's not the only one. This is the Leodoro Phalaenopsis. As you can see, it has that coconut husk mixture, and let me show you the leaves. Here's one of them right underneath here. It looks pretty spotted. Also, the new leaf that appeared here has some spots. Now, this orchid was not watered in the same water as the other orchids. So I don't think anything spread from my other orchids. I just think it came from the media that I used. I really do not see any other explanation for this. It was perfectly healthy when I purchased it. This is the Oncidium Twinkle. As you can see, it does have some spotting on the leaves. Also, many of the leaves have developed these dried foliage tips, which again can be attributed to bad media or to salt buildups. In any case, it is pretty spotted on the leaves, and I tested it and it came out negative for those viruses. I did repot it, and hopefully the new growth will not suffer the same fate. But yeah, this is another example. This is the new Phoenicia I got a year ago, and many of you have asked me to make a video on this particular orchid. Now, as you can see, it does not look good quite at all. It was repotted at some point, but all these potting and everything started when I repotted it into that mixture, and it doesn't seem to really go away no matter what I do. But yeah, she's really not healthy, really not looking good. There are a few leaves that are coming out right now, and I will be curious to see if they get these spots now that it has been repotted. The Kingianum dendrobium is in the same mix, and as you can see, I have quite a few spots on the leaves as well. Again, this orchid looked pretty healthy and spotless when I purchased it, but everything started after I repotted it. The Nobile dendrobium didn't get away. He really has a few spots here and there on the leaves. Some leaves which were pretty spotted have fallen already. This is actually the only Nobile type that I have in this media. The other one I have in pure bark chips, and there doesn't seem to be any spotting on its leaves. I have a few curly leaves because of the dehydration, but other than that, there really are no spots. In any case, nothing like the other one. And the Psychopsis, which is indeed in that media. As you can see, the new leaf has these discolorations as well. It doesn't really look like the other one, which is pretty nice. Has a nice texture to it. This one, yeah, you can see the discolorations. And actually, guys, the list can go on with these girls. I just repotted them. I really don't like the discolorations, spots on the leaves, and so on. So the list can go on. I have quite a few others. I'm now trying to repot everything that was in that mixture. I absolutely hate that mixture, and yeah, again, I'm not saying it's a bad company. I'm just saying maybe I had a bad batch. I don't know, and of course I don't know if it's the coconut husk which I bought without a mix that I prepared, but I have a Paphiopedilum orchid which I will show you. He is potted in that, only in that coconut husk, and he doesn't really have those spots. Whatever damage you see here, this was caused by the spider mite. But other than this, there doesn't seem to be any more spotting on the leaves and things like that. So I don't really think it was the coconut husk I used. Probably it was the Orchid Focus mix. So yeah, did you ever have stuff like this happening to your orchids because of coconut husk? Because I'm really not sure what's going on and how to treat it other than to change the media. Anyway, this was my trouble with that media. I'm not gonna use it again. I'm just gonna stick to my bark, which comes pre-moistened, if you can imagine, but no trace of fungus, no trace of anything at all. It smells beautifully, like pine, I think. I don't know, it smells beautifully. When I open it, there doesn't seem to be any rotten smell, and it is pre-moistened. It comes pre-moistened in the bag, so I know that one is sterilized properly. Alrighty, so this is what's happening with the coconut husk mix that I used and I'm not using anymore, and a few updates on some orchids that I have. So let me know if you ever experimented something like this. Alrighty, if you want to stay up to date with my videos, just subscribe to my channel. If you have questions for me, just leave me a comment, but please make sure in your settings of G+ that people outside your circles can reply to you. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!